Guys, it's me, Sean from C3CyberClub. This is our second online video tutorial. We're going to be going over texturing and materials. So if this is your first time with the software, I'd probably check out our first video tutorial just so you can see the basic modeling techniques. But let's get started. So right now, this is my basic house that I built up. Right now, everything's made out of dirt, so it doesn't really look like the greatest place to live at. But we're going to change that. We're going to spruce it up a little bit. So we need to get into texturing to be able to do that. So textures. First of all, we want to make sure that we're in edit mode. Okay, so now we have our house layer selected. And you guys can use any particular map if you want to. This is just a map that I worked on. But you can use any of the maps that are provided by Platinum Arts Sandbox or work on your own. We're just going to go over some of the techniques that allow you to sort of spruce up that map. But what we're going to do is we're going to start texturing this first wall here. So what we want to do is make sure that we have this whole area selected. So like our very first tutorial, we want to make sure we left click and right click to select the whole face. So now we have this whole side selected. Now what we can do is we can go ahead and press F2 to bring up our texture menu. So once you press F2, you see all our different textures that are assigned to us right now that we can select. So you'll see there's actually 8 pages worth of content. So there's a lot of different choices. You'll look here, page 2 has a few more different sort of textures for the houses. We also have page 3 is a little bit more futuristic textures, more sort of metallic, shiny textures. Even number 4 is like that. Number 5 is where we have more sort of our primary colors. So if you just want to set particular colors for something, that's fine. And then we have number 6, 7, 8 kind of go a little bit more into sort of white and black textures, and a few other ones that we can select from right here. Okay. So right now, since I'm building a house, let's just stick with some stones. So I'm going to go ahead and let's click on this one. So once you click on your texture, it should automatically assign it to whatever you had selected before. So we're going to go ahead and just press F2 again to get rid of our selection, and you'll notice here are the textures. So pretty good, and we can go ahead and do that for the rest of our house here. So again, left click, right click, it's going to be much easier. And I can go ahead and press F2 again to select it, and we're going to do this side, and there's actually a quicker way to do it. So now you notice it might take a pretty long time just to kind of select every single area. Well, what we can also do is we can hold down Y on our keyboard. This is a texturing shortcut. So if we hold down Y, we can cycle through all our textures very, very quickly. It's also really handy because it saves the last texture that you used. For example, I hold on Y, so I have this area selected. So next time I go ahead and select a new area, I'll select this particular area right here. I'll hold down Y, and now you'll notice that the last texture that we use is in our cycle wheel, so we can go back to it very, very quickly. So that is sort of the texturing process. Now another easy way to select your entire house and apply textures is by making sure that all the faces are on. And the way that we do that is if we actually hold down Shift and press 0 at the same time, you'll notice here on the left hand side it says texture all faces on. What that means is, let me give you an example. I'm going to go ahead and make a cube here. And what I'm going to do is apply a texture. And you notice the whole thing becomes texturized. Every single face in this cube has been texturized, not just one side. Let me turn it off. So I'm going to go ahead and just press Shift 0. And now apply a texture. So I'm going to hold down Y, use my scroll wheel. Now see, it only does it on that side. This makes things much, much easier and much quicker if you need to texturize the entire object. So for example, I'm going to do this whole house here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just click on the ground, and I'm going to go the exact opposite side of my house. It should be right over here on this corner, and it would be at the very top. So my problem is that I don't want to select right here because it's not going to select the top of the roof, and if I select here, it's not going to select the side. So what we can do is we can just basically put the selection up in the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and just look directly up in the sky here, and looks pretty good. And let me just double check. Yep, it looks like this whole house is inside this selection. So now what I can do is I can press Shift 0. So texture all faces is on. Now I'm going to go ahead and press F2 here. I'm just going to make a texture. Let's just do these bricks here. Actually, I'll do these bricks. I just press F2. Now everything inside this house has been texturized. So this is really, really great method if you're just starting out and you need a texture that it's going to encompass the entire object that you're making. So right now that I have most of the bricks in here, I can kind of go back in here and apply some different textures to the floor if I want to. And it's just much easier because now that I know all my walls are this particular texture. Okay? So make sure you use that method when you're designing your house. It's going to make things